Welcome, Emanuel, to the NFT Podcast. And very nice to see you here today. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Happy to
Great.
be here.
And where are you talking us from?
Newport, Rhode Island,
Cool,
smallest state in the U.S.
cool. And so, man, like you contacted me and you contacted the NFT Podcast and say that you wanted to share with me and with us your story. So, please, I'll be very honored to hear your story now.
I appreciate it. I don't really talk about it too much, but I'm an artist by nature, so that's it's been a lifelong journey. Sometimes a blessing, sometimes a curse, but I try to focusing on the blessings of it now at this point in my life. Um, I've been painting since I was 17, painting physical pieces of art, so um, I was never directed or taught or supported in that field. So just ended up working a regular job most of my life. So um, it was a huge void. It's always a huge void when I'm not able to create. Um, so that's now at this point in my life, I'm giving myself permission to just be an artist, essentially. And I've sold pieces throughout the years. Had some pieces in gallery here and there, and I painted murals around town and had my own business doing sign making to be an artist, just to try to make a living as an artist, doing signs for business, handmade, crafted signs. And as an artist, you always are trying to find new ways to express and get your, for me, get a message out, um, vision. A lot of it's symbolic. Uh, so that's kind of where I am with the NFT world. It's basically, to me, it's a whole other generation of gallery space to display work. And if I can make a residual income from that, that would be phenomenal because I'm a single dad and, you have to pay the bills.
Cool, and let's talk about your story from the beginning before like going into NFTs because I think that you've got an inspirational story and like it seems that from how you were looking for me when how you saw this opportunity in NFTs, like you struggled in your life as an artist and not just as an artist. So maybe let's start again from the beginning. How you discovered that you were an artist or how you started to be an artist.
So when I was 17, my mother gave me a pack of her old oil paints that she had began to use and a canvas that she started on but never finished. And I went to started working on that piece and using oil, just taught myself. And from there, I was pretty much hooked. Um, just began creating and painting with oil paints, and throughout the years, learned other mediums as well. But I've always taught myself, and I have taken a few classes locally um, um, with regarding other aspects of creating, figure drawing, whatnot. I have modeled for a figure drawing class at the art museum here in Newport. And for me, that was a great experience, just learning. Um, and then about 5 years ago, I had a brain injury and was out of commission for a while. And in that process, I was discovering my creativity as in another field of sculptures with natural pieces of driftwood from the ocean, and along with painting as well. And that kind of, and I also have its sincere um, heart for our nature. I adore nature and our earth, our environment. So I'd always be picking up trash no matter where it was, but especially on the beaches. That inspired me to, well, I created the RI Driftwood project, making sculptures out of driftwood, highlighting the pieces of driftwood themselves. And that whole process inspired me to write a children's book and illustrate it and publish it on Amazon myself. And that was a really rewarding process because you know, the next generation is basically going to inherit everything that we leave. So why not leave a form of awareness for generations to come of keeping, being a steward of your environment and being mindful of consumption and just picking up trash. Such a simple thing.
Yeah.
So
And like you said that you had an injury, right? And so I think it was like a hard moment for you, but it seems like that in a in a sort of way like heart healed you. So the way of like keep going with your heart, or as you said, like starting again with heart because you just paused your artist career, like was healing for you. So you talk about in a sense like about heart therapy? It was therapeutic for you, like doing heart, and how is born this connection with nature after the injury?
yes, I will tell everyone and anyone, any chance I get, that nature is probably the best therapy and healing process you can, you know, embark on. Excuse me, or um, accept and explore. For me, it was fundamental in my healing process. Um, um, and art is obviously a form of expression, and it really has carried me through a lot of dark times, maybe I should say. Um, and I'm very grateful that I have that innate feeling and vision of creating, because I think that's kind of a lot of what's people are missing out on, is how nature is such a reconnecting source for our existence, essentially. So anytime I can, I'll express that to anyone who's going through a hard time, or just go look up at the sky, or walking around trees, the ocean.
And do you so can you tell me more about like which kind of art do you create that is based nature based?
Sure, I use driftwood. Um, that was a main component for that whole process, the RI Driftwood project. Um, and I'm not making something else. I'm not sculpting a horse or something like that. I'm actually highlighting the individual piece of driftwood, because each piece has such a story to tell, right? The lines, the textures, the history. I mean, who knows how far it's been around the world. So I basically would take a piece, and my whole concept is to have it continue to be drifting. So I'd mount it so you couldn't see essentially how it was mounted, but it'd be either hovering in the middle of a frame or suspended by I use copper. I like copper a lot. So that's the driftwood um, art process. And I like to repurpose other pieces of old equipment or even trash sometimes. Um, there's plenty of that around. So I since then, and since the full recovery from the brain injury, I've been painting again, um, when I can. A lot of things have happened recently to where I actually have been able to. like my knee injury now. So my job has been pretty grueling where I work. I work graveyard shifts, so with people with disabilities, and I've been out recovering again from my knee injury. So it's been a great opportunity to learn about NFTs and to paint again, which is really where my heart is. And it's a huge void in my mental space where when I'm not creating. So that's where I am now. I have a piece that I just my first NFT actually was the latest painting that I created.
Cool. Um, do you think that like creating art based on nature is helping you connect it more with nature? Um, I'm also curious to know if after your injury, like going in nature or creating some art was something that has been suggested to you from, I don't know, from doctors, from friends, or is something that you just decided by yourself?
No, it's fully a personal thing, not suggested by anyone. Um, and the art, I connect with nature regardless. That's first, I guess. I'm a single dad too, so I like to share that with my son, just the connections with nature that we all share. Um, but the art for me now is more connecting with people, humanity. Like I said, there's a symbol. I like to have a symbolic vision or message. Or unfortunately, I'm not one that can just go down and just throw some paint on a canvas and say this is my art. I really I have a vision that it's an intuitive thing. It's hard to explain. Um, for me, that's the way it is. It's a so um, my art is more for connecting with people and humanity and maybe even other, who knows, what's in the universe. The latest piece is called Universal Connections. So the title says it all, and the piece doesn't need a title, but that's what I gave it.
Um, because you are so in nature, and it seems like that you take a lot of inspiration from it because you do physical art for them, and also the paintings that you made in some way they are related to nature and to the universe in general. I saw them and they are really powerful. And what do you think that has as humanity? Because you talked about connections, but in general, we as a humanity, what can we learn from nature and from how nature works? What should we learn in these times in our world that is going to move to a greater sustainability? What can we learn?
That we are all connected. We all we all are together. We're all together in this process of just discovering ourselves and humanity. What makes us work. What makes things can happen. I can't think of the right word. Um, I I I I feel like there are connections that we've lost along the way, and somehow have tried to find them with technology, which has been very useful and very helpful on one hand. On the other hand, I think that it's taken us away from the true nature of connection. Um, Senses, smell, touch, feel, human senses. I do, however, think that the artificial connections and technology is actually sort of guiding us through an evolution. through an awareness, awakening for us all to be more connected. But we're going to have to step out of some sort of comfort zones, in my opinion, to actually really connect. And it's happening, I think. Feels like a different subject right now, but um, I think that's where my head is a lot, is hoping to find a connection that we all share. Um, and for me, that is the cosmos. For some reason, my head just keeps going further and further out from Earth, but it's all connected to Earth. Obviously, we're this ball, this rock floating in space. I mean, we're all astronauts essentially. Um, so there's a lot of different moving parts and visions that kind of come together that kind of create my um, symbolism and intuitive nature to my work, and it's healing for me, and maybe for others as well. That would be amazing. Um, so I look forward to being able to just share, even if it's one piece, with the world, somehow. And the space is a phenomenal space because it's worldwide, and that's it's pretty awesome. I think it's just the beginning of how this whole platform is going to evolve. I know there's a lot of inner workings that have to be kind of come together, because right now it's just things just kind of things flying by us, and we're just trying to grasp onto the ones that feel right or work. And for me, I really, when I first learned of NFTs, I just felt the value in it. Besides the environmental part of it, which I'm learning about, and I'm happy that there are other people that are very interested in figuring out how to make it cleaner, like your one guest, how they have they plant trees with their the tokens that they're creating, the gas fees that they use. The one guest, the girl that you had, that's pretty phenomenal. I would love to be a part of that somehow, or create something similar to that in my neck of the woods.
Um, you talked a lot about connection, and of course, NFTs are a tool for connection, but that's of course like a technological way of connecting ourselves. But it seems like that you've got a lot of more expertise in how to connect with nature and with nature around us. So how are you, because you also mentioned your kid before that you want to connect him to nature, because I think that of course I worked with a tech companies and with a company that instead is more related to nature, like outdoor education. So I always learned how to balance these two parts of me, like a technological and fast part of me, because of course technology is so fast, it's evolving so fast,
Right.
and another more natural way. So this is why I also practice like meditation, and I like to spend some time also alone in nature. This is why I moved in a place where I can feel more of that. But I am here with my computers, iPad, and everything I have, and in front of me there is just green for so many miles.
Mm.
But
Mhm.
so we know how to connect to NFTs at the moment. We know how to connect on technology. We need to learn how to connect better with technologies. But I would love to know more about how are you teaching to a new creator, so your kid, to connect with nature. What does your connection with nature looks like?
Simple things. Just going for great hikes, walks in trails, on trails that we have around here. Um, Finding rocks that's a simple way of doing it. Luckily and thankfully, where I live, we're on an island. It's Rhode Island, so we're surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean. So anywhere you go, in which direction you go, you can find the ocean. And um, those are simple steps. But he's helped me with cleanup, going out to our third beach area here and doing cleanups where we just go pick up trash and have a good time doing it. Um, that's I think that was a really good way for him to see where my heart is, and he has his own. He's 14, so he's got his own thing going. He's very technical. He's very technically savvy. He has his own server in Minecraft. He's really into that end as well. But he loves to camp. Camping is another way. So
Yeah,
I mean,
totally. And yeah, I'm not so good at camping, but I'm trying to learn to.
I
Just
love it.
just learning with practices because yeah, where I was living before, it wasn't so used. But anyway, like you talk about empty and emptiness, like in the sense that connecting with nature helps you to like in a sense like really become empty. I was talking today with an artist today. I interviewed, and he said, I aim for emptiness while I paint. So then there is really no meaning in what I do. Like art for me is a moment of just a conversation between me and the artwork that I'm creating. Without and I feel like that as an artist, this is what he was saying before. I am becoming a vehicle for my imagination and people that then appreciate my art. And he also compared this to how he's growing up his children, his goddaughters. And he says that when you've got a child, at the beginning you think that you want him to become someone. I don't know. You want him to become a
Successful.
successful, a famous footballer. You want him to become an engineer or something else. But then you learn that that's not what you want from your child, because it doesn't. A part of him or her belongs to you, but not his life belongs to you. So he is autonomous in what he does, and so you are just this bridge between knowledge and your child. And he make this parallel with art. It's the same. He says that he's 50 now, and he says that after more than 30 years of doing arts, he understood that he's just a vehicle. Like he thinks something and he has to reproduce it for the world, and he now asks himself, do the world needs this piece of art? If for him his answer is yes, he starts to create it. But as I said before, he aims to emptiness, in a sense that without meditation, without having the habits of swimming in the sea every morning at 5 6 a.m., and so
Wow.
without practicing all this, he will never feel empty to create this art. And of course there is a lot of nature in this. And like, do you think that with your heart, and at the same time, as I said now, with your child, yeah, with your son, are you in a similar process?
Absolutely. Yeah, he is an autonomous being, and he's with me half the time. So half the time he's with his mother, and she is all about the success, all about it, and kind of hounds him about it, doing this right, this right, this right. So I feel like it's necessary for me to create a balance between that striving for an unseen, a goal, and just letting yourself be yourself, feel what you want to feel, and express yourself and learn from those things. So it's a big balance, definitely a balance. Even without the parents being separated, you still have to find that balance. But um, it is all about balance or unbalance, letting things just be unbalanced. That's another thing I've been learning is, not everything has to be perfectly balanced. Just let the chaos do its thing, because you're not going to stop it. The only thing you can control is how you react to it and how you behave with it, which has taken a long time for me to learn, but I think I've learned that. um, so I really hope for my son that if anything of value that he gets from me, it would be that just to try to stay in tune with nature, first of all, and yourself, because those are the most important things to accomplish anything. If you're not in tune with yourself, then it's taken me a long time to learn that too. But I've always been striving to. Maybe I'm a late bloomer. I don't know. But I mean, I've been finding myself since I was 17. So maybe not. I'm 47 now. So don't tell anybody that. Um, I Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was funny. I said like, don't tell everybody that.
Too late.
um,
Oh well.
you mentioned cows. Cows is a form of balance too because it's needed in balancing our life. Like I think that some of my most productive periods came after a moment of chaos and confusion because like you try to rebalance and adding new informations into your brain,
Mm,
adding new aspirations for your life, and so that of course generates chaos, and then you need to rebalance it.
right.
I'm trying.
Bring it all
I'm
together.
yeah. I'm now seeing the patterns of this through my life. Like here after year, like there is a moment of chaos. There is this moment which I learn from chaos and try to give it a meaning, and then like recharge a full power, full energy to start working again on a new project, a new vertical of my career, and it's important to learn from your, of course, from your story and see the sort of pattern. So now I'm not scared anymore when there is chaos in my life because I understand that it's like a signal that you have to understand and you have to be able to read, and of course like all the practices with nature that we mentioned before are helpful. um, what's your relation with cows? Is it similar in some sense?
Yeah. The more and more, the older I get, the more and more I realize that I might have been a main contributor to my chaos just through decisions, thinking certain ways, and just allowing things to come into my life that I knew weren't right, but still kind of. So I think through my life and through the chaos and through the ups and the downs, which I've had quite a few of, to say the least. Um, I've, I think I've learned to, and I feel like certain things just don't matter it doesn't really even matter. You just kind of have to, I feel like being able to just sit and clear your mind and be thankful that you're even able to think about clearing your mind in the first place. To just think, okay, all this shit happened to me. All this shit not happened to me, but is happening. Now it's my turn. Now I just let it go and breathe and like meditating is a good word for that. But it doesn't have to be just one moment sitting a day. It could be a constant minute by minute thankfulness, gratefulness of just being able to be grateful. Just being able to be grateful in the first place, or thankful for breath, for the sun, for anything that's good in your life, or anything that you have that you can feel like you can share with other people. So it all kind of ties into just the whole attitude of being grateful and thankful for every second, every second that you have, and being able to connect with other people on that level is so valuable. And there's certain there's certain platforms now that are actually giving you instant access to that connection, which is pretty awesome. I mean, obviously we've had the internet going for a while, but now I think with certain platforms, um, you actually have people that are actually connecting on very similar levels and expressing it and sharing it and meeting other people that are on similar wavelengths of thought. And that's really valuable to me. I think that's where our evolution is going to have to continue to go to just be a collective of you know human beings on a planet floating in space. That's what we are. We're just you know
Cool.
and
Yeah, so it seems like that you know how to isolate yourself, you know how to meditate, how to know yourself, and it's probably something that you are more used thanks to the environment in which you live and thanks to like your generation because you weren't born so connected like us like us
right.
as digital natives, and so for you now in this connected world and especially in the NFT world, so what's your biggest challenge in jumping in the NFT world?
The biggest challenge I think for me, besides the financial part, is doing it alone. I mean, I've met you, and there's YouTube tutorials, but I really don't have anyone else around me that's doing this or talking about it at least. So it's been kind of a lonely journey. That's the challenge, um, and just trying to figure out how to execute it properly, and make it happen. Um, Because when I learned about NFTs, I jumped right in without really knowing much about the crypto market, which is pretty much a fundamental foundation for the whole process.
Of course.
So now I'm actually diving into the crypto market full head on first too. So at least now I have more of an understanding of what and how and they work, and it's fascinating. Um, and now I have people asking me questions on a Discord server that I'm on now, and I have my mind. I have a very inventive, intuitive mind. I invent things all the time, and I have this idea to combine a bunch of artists from TikTok that I've randomly met, like hundreds and hundreds of artists on TikTok, which is amazing. Have you seen how many artists are on TikTok? Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, of course.
Fascinating. So I have this idea to have like an exhibition for a bunch of artists on TikTok and help them with at least one of their pieces, or assist, like the whole part of the exhibition would be bringing one of their pieces into the NFT world and minting that for them as part of the exhibition. And I mean, I know there are galleries out there, obviously, for NFTs, but this would be more of an organic process. And it's just an idea. I don't know why I'm talking about it right now, but
It's
it's how my
it's a
mind
good
works.
idea. No, it's a good idea, and it's based on the fact that you said my biggest challenge is discovering an NFTs and doing all the process alone. But the good news is that you don't need to. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to do it by yourself. Because first of all, I'm humbled that you are using this podcast as a resource for like educating yourself about NFTs. And second, like as you said on TikTok and Discord, and there are a lot of other communities in which you can engage. As an artist, you help yourself because we are all in this process in which we are all learning, and as soon as we have learned, there is something new to learn. So
Yeah.
you can just be updated, just being part of a network. And as you mentioned before, we are all connected in this world. So I'm sure that as you can do it in the proper way in the physical world, you are going to learn it in the digital world too. It's just more different because you don't meet physically the other person. But I think that we need to learn what all this now. You can of course start with the artists that are near you, near the place where you live, because so maybe you have also the opportunity of meeting them. But of course, yeah, like all the other social platforms that you mentioned, they are the way. So there was also the other day another guest here in the podcast that was saying, artists, you have got no more excuses about staying alone. You need to engage, you need to connect, because if you connect, you don't just learn, but you open yourself a lot of other opportunities, business opportunities, collaborations, exhibitions together. And that's
Mm.
powerful because like we live in a network effect, in a world based on network effect. So more we are, and more our success, and I'm talking about our success, is going to increase, because there is no success alone. So
Mm.
that's of
It's true.
course what we are going to do. And okay, so cool. And are you going to mint now your first NFT? Are your first NFTs?
Yes. Well, like I said, I dove headfirst into the whole platform and the whole NFT world. So I did go ahead and mint my most recent painting, um, Universal Connections. You want to see? Can I show you now on here?
Of course, if you've got here now, or otherwise we can. Oh, please, yes, take it. We can also share it digital. But oh wow, that
Can you see it?
yes, I can see it. I love it.
So basically, I digitized this piece with an app, and
Which app? I'm curious. Which app you use to digitize this piece?
Motion Leap. It's called
Okay.
Motion Leap. Simple thing, but it's the painting's mine. I I'll send you the link to the Opensea. I have it on Opensea, Universal Connections, and I am the OO is my handle, my name on there. Like THEOO, capital E. The original owl is what because I'm a night owl. I stay up late. So that's how I came up with that. And that's my TikTok handle too, is the OO. I spelt weird, so I can't really just type it in, it wouldn't come up, but
Okay. Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Perfect. So very good luck for your first NFTs, and please let us know how it's going. I love this sense of connection that you put in your heart through nature, through universe, through people. So please keep doing that, and wish you best. And thank you for being here today, Manuel, and share with
Thank
us
you, Francisco.
your story.
And there's
So
my
you
book,
oh,
my
please,
children's
yeah.
book.
Is it about the heart that you made with nature?
Yes. Well, no, it's a magical story um, about a boy. So it's the adventures of Rhodey Driftwood. Um,
A magical adventure of ocean conservation. Amazing.
yeah. So
I'm going of course to share the link here in the description for your book and for your NFTs. And please
thank you.
let us know how it's going then.
All right, I will. I'll send them to you.
Great.
Thank you, Francisco. Cheers.
Cheers.
Be
Thank you,
well. Be
Manuel.
safe. Really awesome, awesome time. I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate
It's a
a lot,
first for
man.
me.
Is your first
Thank you.
podcast?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm humbled to do this. It seems like that this
Likewise.
podcast is becoming like the first experience in in talking in an interviews for also other guests. So I'm very happy that I'm
Wow.
finding you guys.
Likewise. Yeah, I'm happy I found you, man. Maybe we'll meet in person someday.
Of course, I'll come. I'll
That'd be
come
awesome.
soon in the US.
Awesome. Keep me posted.
Oh,
All
of
right.
course.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, man. Thank you.